Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris.
Definitely. So fast forward after that, you went what got you into the coaching? So after your playing career, what was it that led you to coaching? Was it something you was thinking about a couple of years before you got into it, or was it something that came up afterwards, or a little rest, or
Yeah, I had thought about it. My college coach, Stan Spiro, the legendary Stan Spiro, used to always tell me he thought that there was something I should look to do. But at that time, actually, I was teaching at a school in Birmingham. So I was teaching. So when I got the message from the writers to come up if I was interested in an interview, I did. I went up, but I wanted to I kept my teaching job that first season. So going into there, I had a teaching job in Birmingham and I was coaching in Leicester.
how,
So it was
that was tough.
it was challenging. It was
How did you
challenging.
manage that?
Yeah, you just do it, like it sounds tough at times and stuff, but like everything, it sounds a lot harder than it was. You get out of work at school and you race up to Leicester and you coach and you go back home and you do it again the next day. But
Yeah,
yeah, it was challenging, but I'm so glad that I did do it. I wanted to make sure I had the teaching there still in case the coaching,
something else.
wasn't. Yeah, so I tried to keep both avenues open for me. So it was definitely a challenging year because of that, but amazing experience as well.
Definitely. And what made when did you realize, all right, this is something I want to do fully now? When did you leave the teaching and just fully focus on Leicester?
After the first season, the first season we finished third, which was the highest they had ever finished in their
Yeah.
history.
And
We got to the Final Four. We got the Coach of the Year. So
the
yeah,
first
I
year,
guess.
isn't it?
Yeah, so I guess it was the time where you're going, let's see where this can go. And I had spoken to the Rives about moving up here, and they made it very easy for me. And yeah, that's when I think that's when I said to myself, let's really make a go for it. And I loved Leicester right from the start. The fans were awesome, and living up here it was awesome right from the start too.
How did you find moving to Leicester? Because there's not much difference between. Did you think there was much difference between Leicester and Birmingham in terms of moving?
Yeah, I think Birmingham was different. I thought Birmingham was a little livelier, I would say.
Yeah,
I think I was heading into at the age of 36 or so. I think I was heading into the quieter phase of my
yeah,
life. So it actually worked out pretty well for me to come up here. And yeah, I like I said right from the start, I love living in Leicester, and where we live, you can be in the country in 10 minutes and in the city in 10 minutes. So the combination of both off the court was great for me.
definitely. And I can see got your resume here. 13 trophies, four league titles, two cup titles, three trophy titles, four playoff titles, and you've done a three-peat as well in the playoffs as well. And five-time coach of the year. So that's a big congrats on all of those. FIBA Europe Cup as well. How have you managed? What is it that's motivated you to keep being so consistent in terms of winning so much?
Yeah, I have a short memory, really. Like I'm not really hung up on what we did last season.
Yeah,
I'm ready to go. It's tough because when I first arrived at the Riders, they had a lot of lean years. So I mean, it was a good time to come in, right? Because we would lose close games in the first year, and people would shake my hand after the game. Hey, good try, nice game. Wow, you guys are tough. But now, as we got going here, sometimes the wins are like, well, I don't know about that win. So it's
yeah.
it's kind of flipped. So you have to have kind of a short memory about it. And I hate to lose. I think that I never want to go into a game thinking, wow, I didn't do enough. I didn't prepare enough. I'm not ready for this. I don't want to go into a summer and say I didn't recruit hard enough. I didn't, I'm motivated to not have that losing feeling. And, it's with me all the time. I just have to keep going. And I love what I do. And I think that in a time like this, you really get I really realized how much I love the game. I miss it so much.
Yeah, yeah.
And I miss being around The guys. I think that's what I miss the most. I've been fortunate enough for the most part of my life to be on a team. And when it's taken away and you don't have that every day, I think that you really appreciate it. And I don't ever want to, do anything but my best, because I appreciate the position that I'm in.
Definitely. And I've also seen over the years with Leicester, since you've been there, definitely as well, how well disciplined the team is around you. I've always said this. Leicester Riders are very similar to Spurs in the way they play. It's like a very team-oriented team, and like no huge superstars there. It's like everyone's a solid player, and they play well as a team, and it's just like they're always a threat everywhere they go. What do you think the reason behind them being so disciplined? Is it your coaching as well as your coaching?
Well, look, thanks for the comment. The Spurs, ooh, I'll take that. That's a nice one, because what an organization that has been. And thank you. I've certainly watched a lot of what they do, the Spurs too. I used to, a lot of their video stuff, amazing. But first and foremost, you got to have great players. You have to have great players, and then you have to have smart players. And I think that, when I talk to a lot of the basketball players coming up, you better be an intelligent player. If you're not an intelligent player, you'll get found out fast, no matter what your numbers say. And I think that there's plenty of times where you could look at numbers in a league and you go, oh, 20 a game. I mean, we're looking at a guy the other day, 20 a game. Then we started to watch. Then we started to ask questions. And then we realized that, he's not going to be smart enough or intelligent enough to make plays when we need to make the plays. So you got to have intelligent players. We try to find as many intelligent players as we can. And then I think that, we get a lot of players together so they can compete each day in practice. And I think the practices throughout the years here have been, what has made our program stand out, I believe, because we go at it every day in practice. And I'm a big believer in playing in practice. I believe that, you can do a lot of the drills, do a lot of the walkthroughs. You got to know your plays. You got to know this, you got to know that. But if you're not playing and competing every day and have that fire to compete and go at your teammates and make them better, then, when you get to the O2 Arena in May, you're not going to be ready. And I think that the practices and playing, and it's not like, not scientific by any means. It's getting these guys together and getting them out there playing and holding everybody accountable. We got to hold everybody accountable. If you make a mistake, you got to hold your hand up. And I make a mistake, and I tell my guys all the time, that's my fault. Watch the video. That's my fault. But we have to be able to admit when we make those mistakes and correct them. And for us, having the talent, but combined with the intelligence has been a huge factor for us. And
I remember talking to the O2. I remember one of your the last playoff win you had against the Royals. On paper, Royals did look better than Leicester, but you lot still came up with the win. And
whose paper?
Huh?
Whose paper?
On the paper.
Whose paper?
Maybe mine.
All right.
Because I was obviously I had a lot of people that I knew on that team as well, but they did look good on paper.
No, they were a good team. I'm just joking with you. They were really good. Yeah, I thought we played well on that day. And those one-off games, you got to be.
What was your mindset going into that game?
We felt good. I thought that, and you said something before about maybe we don't have the star players and all that.
Yeah.
And, we do have the star players, but maybe their numbers don't equate with what a star player does. And I think when you watch those big games at the finals and trophies and all that, I think you see that we have those players that step up on the big day,
definitely.
And then the defense has been the key for us. I think when you look back on the history of the league, I think we have 4 of the top 10 lowest points per games in history. I think the defensive end of the floor is where you get it done with preparation. And I think we're going into those O2 Arena games. I can remember last year we were sitting in the hotel. You could see the O2 Arena from the hotel. We had a meeting after the game. And I remember going over all London stuff.
Yeah.
the Royal stuff, and the guys I didn't even have to. They could recite what their play was. What's number 2? What's 3? What's C? What's this? What's that? And when you have a group that buys in like that, then you get to that game and you feel very good. And we felt really good going into that game because of that.
And also you had that experience as well, so that's what helped even more as well. So and
Sure.
and the team, and your MVP of that game, who was the MVP? I can't remember.
Timmy Williams.
Oh man, it was just like it was so simple and effective. It was just like, it was so brilliant to watch. It was just like you lot didn't make mistakes. If you did make a mistake, you knew how to rectify it straight away. So
Well, Timmy
yeah,
Williams was a heck of a player. I think that he went to Switzerland last year, and who knows where he's going next year. But he was phenomenal to play, and on that day he was awesome. A good, cool, calm, cool customer.
that's
And I
it.
think it's important in those games to stay calm, stay cool. And you get that by battling every day in practice. You go through it. We have practices at times where we got guys ready to go, right?
Yeah,
I mean, ready. It happens, and you pull them apart. You don't want that every day, but you want the mindset that I'm ready to battle no matter who's in front of me, whenever. And when they battle tested like that, by the end of the season, you should be able to perform at the highest level.
And yeah, that's what I saw that day as well, definitely. And obviously, like you said again, you mentioned again, it's not just about being good, you got to be intelligent as well. And that's one thing I learned from my brother when he said he was playing pro. I think he said there was a guy who was just, they said at the beginning of the trials, they knew he wasn't going to make a team just because he just did a certain thing. He was a great player, he could score, but he just did certain things. And he said he looked at the time this is when Junior Winners was playing still.
Yeah.
And him and Junior looked at each other and said, yeah, he's not making it. Right. I was like, how do you know that? He goes, when you're a pro, you know these things. So it's like, you got to be ready smart as well as a great player. So.
Yeah, and I think that's something that everybody could work on. I think you have to really pay attention. And I think with all the video around nowadays, you could do that. And our guys, what was cool, even from the beginning, I can remember coming in and they would know about the other team. And we spent so much time with preparation and scouting reports and stuff that, you have to have that brain to be able to put it into play.
Definitely.
Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris.